Is now a good time to invest in real estate? Well, is it? We're going to cover that in this episode, so stay tuned and we're going to get into all that in detail. In this episode, we're going to cover, is now the right time to invest in real estate? The question, more importantly, is what's going on in your particular market and what kind of assets should you be investing in? And should you be investing doing fix and flips or long-term holds? I'm going to share with you the stuff that I'm doing currently, and otherwise, why should I speak about it? Just in theory, I'm going to give you real life examples of what I'm doing right now in the real estate market. So in every market, there's different things going on. In housing market, there's a shortage of houses that's pretty much across the country. There's the deals that you used to be able to get, the margins are squeezed. So if you're able to get one of those deals, great. A lot of people are worrying about okay, are we, on a bubble? Is this going to crash? What's going on? People have been predicting that since 2016 and probably even before that. So think about how many people have been out of the market just waiting to step in thinking, hey, the market's going to crash. So what I like to do is hedge and make sure that I'm just getting a great deal on a market that's trending up, not necessarily down. So you could follow market trends in your area. You could go to meetup groups. They go through that data specifically. If you go to reia.org, there's a local meetup. I suggest going to them. You could participate in the meetings, but they go over statistical data in your area of what's trending, commercial and residential. Also, another area you may want to plug into is just your local business journal. They'll let you know what businesses are coming in, what businesses are going out, and so what's happening. Like in Arizona, for example, they're building nearly 20 million square feet of warehouse. We're at an all-time high as far as occupancy. So that could be, if you could get a good deal on a warehouse, find out what it's selling for and get that discount, and then obviously get things to cash flow, things like that. So before I get into all of that, really at the end of the day, you'll hear this over and over and over. It's all about the buy. You make your money on the buy in real estate. I don't care if you're fixing and flipping or you're doing a long-term hold. The better that you buy it, if there is a market correction, which is ultimately why you ask the question, is now a good time to buy? If you're able to buy it right, then if there is a market adjustment, then you could weather that storm. But if you're buying it at top and there is no room for error and there is a market hiccup or slight adjustment, then you'll probably feel that. So make sure that you're getting a good deal on the stuff that you're buying. You may want to fact check this, but I believe, what do they say, like 25% of all currency out there in America right now has been printed in the last 18, 20, 24 months, whatever it's been. So think about that currency, and what that's doing is that's more money in our economy. And technically it's inflation. So what inflation does is it devalues our dollar, right? So technically, if you bought a property right before the pandemic, even probably during the pandemic, it's appreciated so much. You call it appreciation. What's happened is our dollar has just gotten devalued. So another great reason to invest in real estate is to hedge against inflation. A lot of people say you could buy gold or silver, precious metals. I like to buy real estate, and the reason being is I can't buy precious metals and then go cash it for a residual income. Real estate, that's exactly what I like to do. So again, it all comes down to, can you find a deal or create a good deal? And that's what it comes down to in any market. The market is always, no matter where you live, is in a cycle. Sometimes cycles last a long time and they're down or up. So you have to be creative and keep your mind open on what kind of asset classes you're looking at. For example, a lot of people, when the pandemic started, they fled from office. Office is going to be, on its lips. In fact, filming here today, someone said, well, is office, worth investing in? I think if someone's fleeing from it and it cost me more to build that product now, then I could actually just go acquire it for you. If it costs more money, I could acquire it for a fraction of the price. I'd rather just go acquire it and then look at it though during that process of what is the highest and best use for this particular asset. It's something I ask myself on every single property, and I make sure I have multiple exit strategies. Really what multiple exit strategies, the most common two is, if I had to, can I sell it for a profit? Or, the other, let's say that's one strategy. Maybe my second strategy is, does it cash flow well and can it support itself? Again, they could be asked the other way. If I'm looking at it to buy it for cash flow perspective, should I be looking at it like, if I have to and I have to sell, can I sell it and make some money off of it? If the answer is no, then I'm taking on more risk. And those are the questions that you need to ask yourself, especially if you're a new investor, is how much risk tolerance do I have? How much risk can I take on? You have to answer that question for yourself. There are ways to limit your risk, and I'll go into a couple things that I did, especially getting in. I got in at the bottom of the market doing some commercial stuff. And you may say, yeah, you got in at the bottom. Well, we didn't know where bottom was, and people weren't exactly leasing spaces. So I'm going to share with you that story here at the end, but I need you to stay tuned because it's a way that I show people that they could get into the market with very little money and low cost of entry. So if you're liking this video, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. Just like to know, when you guys do that, it gives me the cue to, hey, give you guys more content like this. Give me a thumbs up if you do, not if you don't. Just give me a thumbs up. I need one. So when I first got into commercial, I was very hesitant. I was buying commercial real estate where typically the block was not the greatest block. The block's great now, but that's in hindsight. But I was the first person on that block to kind of plant my flagpole and say, I'm going to turn this into a business. And what I did is I took a smaller 3,000 square foot building and I carved it up into 9 suites. They're called executive suites. So if you think about like the Regis model or WeWork or some of these others that have sprouted up, this was a less sophisticated, I would say, more casual, I like to use the word boutique style of executive suite, where it's not so formal. You have, people wearing suits and stuff like that. It's more for, I would say, modern people today that are just looking for, maybe a non-traditional, could be they're a tech person, they're just a one person type of business, could be salons, you name it. So we have a variety of different people that rent from us, and they're just taking 100 to maybe 180 square feet. So what we did is we carved that up. We paid roughly $240,000 for 3,000 square feet. It was all the money in the world back then. I had to get seller financing. The building was sitting there anyways. No one was doing anything with it. Similar to some of the office now. Cue, hint. Anyways, so if you see office that's just sitting there and it looks bad, especially like if you're a fix and flipper and you're thinking, I want to get into commercial, I don't know how to get started. Most of them don't have the design eye that you have. So commercial is missing that. So if you could make an outside look good, that's that curb appeal. That's the number one thing people start looking for when they're looking at commercial space to lease. They want to be proud of where they go every day. They want their clients to feel proud to go into this space. So it doesn't take a ton of money. You're not remodeling kitchens and things like that, putting real hardwoods down. So food for thought, if you're already flipping, you're miles ahead of most commercial people. Okay, secret. So what we did is I paid $240,000 for that property. Got seller financing, gave them $40,000 down. So I had a balance of $200,000. Okay, I don't remember my exact payment on that property, but I'll tell you this: I repositioned it. We rented the rooms out for roughly $500, $550 in that area. So somewhere around $4,500 a month, I think, is what it 43 something is what it came out to. So cash flowing very well. Versus rents in that area at the time were somewhere around $1 a foot, right? So 3,000 versus 45 or 4,300, right? So I'm getting an extra 13 to 14, 1,500 on that property than I would normally get. So just doing simple stuff like that allows you to get I call it an uptick in what you would typically get. And what that is a blind spot to most business owners that own that real estate currently, because they're not looking at it as an asset like that. They're used to it's built for one business. No one's renting it for the dollar. They feel like it's just an asset that's causing them issues. So we could talk about getting seller financing on another episode, but I typically on about 50% of my projects get seller financing. So I'm getting away from my topic, so let me get back to it. So the reason I did that, it was a market that people were asking themselves, should I be investing in real estate right now? So you have to look at each asset class, what's going on in that market, what's high, what's low. You want to be able to take advantage of those lows. Most people run from, and at that point, they ran from those opportunities. If you could train yourself to, like, if you get tight and be like, oh no, that's not good, everybody's saying it's not good to invest in that. Office right now is a prime example. Take a step back and say, what can I do to that property to reposition it, to make it a totally different use that everybody would want to go to? Anyways, these are the things that I ask myself constantly. It usually allows me to look at that property completely different. And sometimes I can't figure it out, but the times that I do, I win, and I win big. So here's the thing. We love working with and teaching people how to get properties like this, how to help them fund properties like this. If that's something you're interested in, we have a free one-on-one session. It's quick, 30 minutes. We could do a strategy session with you, help you get you going in the right direction. If you need more help, so be it. But that's the 30 minutes is yours complimentary. If you'd like it, click on the link below, register. Hope to be talking to you soon.